While many individuals are eager to stay informed about global events, not everyone has the time or capacity to prioritize their mental well being. It's important to recognize how the constant influx of information can significantly impact on our health, both positively and negatively. Welcome to the Society Scoop. I'm your host, Trinacia, along with my co host, Cesar.
Hello, audience.
We will delve into mental health awareness and its various dimensions. While our discussions may touch on related topics, we will consistently focus on health and well being. Join me every Thursday at 7 p.m. for new recorded episodes where we'll share the latest insights and perspectives. Additionally, we will occasionally go live during some recording sessions, so be sure to follow our social media channels for updates. Stay tuned for all the latest scoop. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Society Scoop, and I am your host, Trinacia. We have our co host, Cesar,
Hello.
and we are coming live today to discuss things similar to what I'm actually going through now, grief, depression around the holidays. So we want to make sure our listeners can hear us. Can you guys hear us? Okay, great. Alrighty, let's go.
Well, this is a topic that I'm gonna let you take the reins on. This is basically something you could jump off and start um, opening it up to. Me personally, I'm pretty much just gonna be your input on this.
And we are going to answer questions if anyone wants to chime in. And as everyone know who's close to me or my family, I lost my brother. It just made 24 years. Yeah. Um, November the 29th. And then his birthday was December 8th. I lost a lot of family around this time in 2021 during COVID. So we felt like this was a good discussion to go live on for people if they want to chime in. You can ask your questions. We have our phones here. So um, at the moment, currently dealing with my grandfather or my grandmother. She has been battling breast cancer. Started out stage one. She went in remission. This was about, I'm going to say 5 years ago. Was living on her own. And then the cancer came back. And I think it came back at stage 3. And it progressed to stage 4. So she has been battling breast cancer for the last almost 4 years at a stage 4. Although this is a sad time for us, we had to decide on hospice yesterday. But we're grateful that she's made it this far with stage 4. No chemo or radiation. However, she has been taking a chemo in a form of a pill. So, yeah, we have tissue here because I'm sure it's going to be emotional. But, yeah, so that's what's going on as of now. Back in 2021, when I was dealing with a lot of passing of a lot of family and friends, I took a break from work. I seeked counseling. Probably going to be setting myself up for that again pretty soon. But yeah, so if you ever, you know, ask, how the holidays, it's always, I'm just ready for the first of the year. So Um, yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to be dealing with, you know, type of this type of scenarios around the holidays because I feel like that's when people gather the most, and you know, you see people you usually don't see on a regular. So it's
Mona, yeah. That was maybe it was in 2020, not 2021.
okay. We're live. We're
Yeah.
live. Can you hear it?
Mhm.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I just turned it down though. So, um but yeah, so that's what's going on now. Um Taking off of work? No. I kind of feel like work is kind of helps me to kind of remain focused, I guess. To where I'm not um I don't know. I feel like I guess I've been having a headache the last couple of days. It's been stress, I'm sure.
No, definitely. You need to just kind of chill back on. I can't really just say chill back, but just take your health in consideration at this point because it's something that is important. You can't help nobody if you're not healthy. Um, for the most part, you know, it's kind of hard dealing with depression. And my heart goes out to anybody dealing with depression because I seen it, dealt with it personally. And I just had to shake that monkey off my back because it'll drag you low. It's tough dealing with it. Understanding that losing a loved one or in verge of losing somebody, you feel like it's gonna take a lot. But I just suggest prayer. Personally, I haven't lost somebody in a long time. I mean, with losing people, it's like when I lost my grandmother. I wasn't able to go to her funeral. I lost uncles. I wasn't able to go to the funeral.
Are
Um,
these family members in Panama?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's been. I mean, I haven't been back to Panama in about 20 years, safely said. Um, um, Overall, I mean, I can understand the grief, but not able to go and put these people to rest,
And be able to be there to
and
support family.
or to receive support because
Right.
I mean
Being around family definitely
I
helps.
dealt that alone, and I mean the only support that I had at the time was God because majority of the people I made my life here in the U.S. and majority of the people I'm grieving are unknown to a lot of people.
Right.
So that's something I can't go like, oh, my grandma. Most of my peers don't know my folks like that. So it's just something that I deal with and bottled up. So my only refuge is God.
Do you think that bottling it up though is healthy? You
It's
know?
not healthy. It's not healthy. That's why I say my only refuge is God for the simple fact that He's the only one that can hear me. He's the only one that I can cry out to. And true enough, when you build a relationship, he's the only one that can consult you. Um, Whether I mean, some people in my family are not good with emotional, especially. I mean, I was raised by my dad, so
And that's a lot
it's
of
kind of
men
it's
in
just
general.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just men in general are not too much emotional. Like I feel like um, an emotional man is a dangerous thing. So we 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 don't deal on emotions. We incline more into logic, and then when we refuge towards logic, um, the emotion kind of dies down, but you still feel that pain.
Because you are holding it in and
Right,
bottling it in.
right. So for the most part, on this topic, it's kind of like a far land because you know we, as a man, I taught myself to kind of like distance myself from it, from feeling it. Um, I mean, what was it? Like the most recent death that I had in my family was like probably about 2 years ago.
Mm.
It was my uncle. He died. Uh, Me personally, of an anxiety attack.
Mm.
Trigger,
What you dealt with?
trigger. A
Brain.
heart. No. A heart attack.
Mm.
Triggered two heart attacks. The
Mm.
anxiety attack triggered two heart attacks, and unfortunately, it was too much for him to bear. So he passed away due to that. For the most part, I feel like on the anxiety side, just surroundings and people talking, people who you close to can, trigger a lot. That's why we have to be mindful how we speak to people,
Mm-hmm.
on how we
Right.
deliver things to people, because what we seen on harmful, a person dealing with anxiety could be such a trigger, and that's something that I kind of like to put in importance, how you deliver something,
Right.
even in grief, right? So you might say something that you thinking you comforting, but um, a person might receive differently.
Right. And I remember like people when someone passed away, oh, I'm so sorry, and that would like trigger, and it's like, oh my god. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry for. I'm sorry to hear about what happened with your, you know.
Right, and like I said, it's a deliverance,
Right.
how you deliver certain
Right.
things, and people understand it. But I mean, for the most part, we just got to be mindful, like in this lifetime, to stay away from depression. Right, in this lifetime, there's a course that we run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we don't walk or run this course with God on our side, it'll be difficult.
So
That's
then, okay, I agree with that. How do we talk to the ones who aren't close to God or doesn't know how to reach out spiritually, or you know what I mean? Like,
for the
I
most
mean, we
part.
wouldn't know.
For the
You know what I
most
mean?
part, I mean, you know, it's kind of hard to cater to somebody that they haven't accepted God. You can't reach them. If you, it's going to be a tough walk for you
Right.
if you exclude God out of anything. So, me personally, I don't have advice for a person who don't know God or who haven't seek God, because my breakthrough has definitely been. I would have been out in the streets
Still,
losing my
yeah.
mind. Like, nah, seriously, like if God wasn't a big factor in my life, I wouldn't be a sane person.
You saying
Because
a sane person?
like a sane,
Yeah.
like
Individual. Yeah.
sanity,
Yeah. Yeah.
sanity wise, um, because it's a big factor. You cannot muster any strength without God.
Right.
Um, my personal view, I'm not pushing religion. I'm
Right.
just pushing the relationship. Like, if I wasn't so supported in your life, I wouldn't be a factor in your life, right? And
Right.
vice versa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not centering
Right.
self wise, but that's what we need to be for folks. We need to be Christ like, the reflection of God on earth to those who don't know
Right.
God. And that's how we bring God to. You know, there's a lot of people outside on the streets right now because they don't know God, or they refuse to have a relationship with God because, like the
Mm.
Bible said, lean not onto your own
Understanding.
understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But seek God. At the end of the day, God has to be part of the equation
Mm-hmm.
for even in the, what's the science, right? The science is math, right? And if it didn't, you know, was by His creation, we're not
Right.
If you don't come in the presence of God, that's how you dwell in depression. That's how you dwell, you know, with anxiety.
And I think that's the reason why I feel like I always, how do I say it? My body may feel stressed, but I don't feel stressed.
Well, no, you have to feel stress for your body to feel stress because majority of stress is a mental thing, right?
Hmm.
And it starts in the mind, and when it attacks the mind, it takes over the mind, then it take over the body. So you before your body gets stressed, your mind has to stress. Whether and for you not to realize it, then you're really separating the two, and that's why we need to get into more prayer, seeking the presence. Surround yourself with
Like minded people that you can look
right,
to for that
right,
support.
definitely. Because at the end of the day, you have people out here. You know, I could trip out on my own mind. You know what I'm saying? That's what anxiety is. That's what schizophrenia is.
Hmm.
You tripping on your own mind, not registering fully what the essence of God is in your life, or how of a big factor.
Right.
Um, Most people try to figure it out without God, and then that's where you find yourself lost. That's where depression wins. That's where anxiety wins. You know what I'm
And
saying?
when
That's
you were
where
struggling
it
with your anxiety, um, and your depression.
never took any medicine. God was
Hmm.
my medicine. So, I mean, and I'm not downplaying
Right.
anybody who does take medicines for it, but a lot of those medicines have side effects that attack your body
Yep.
and deteriorate your body. So, dealing with those triggers, I mean, we have triggers 24/7. I could be a trigger to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I had to check myself and how I talk to people
Hmm.
and how I deliver things to people. And in the midst of it, not dwell too much on it because I could set myself off in another, direction to where the anxiety attacks
Right.
come and become strong. Or don't trip like heavy on God seeking. Let's be heavy on God seeking. Like
Yeah.
seek presence, seek fellowship with anointed people, or
Because I'm just
God
when I
God
when I
God
go to
driven
church,
people.
look, when we go to church, it's like a different feeling. Like you're surrounded by positivity, love, and you feel it. And it's in the atmosphere. It's like you feel it. You don't even like. I don't even want service to end. you know. Um, so, yeah, absolutely. Surround yourself with people who, like we have someone who commented and said, surround yourself with people or things that you can look to for strength. And I agree 100% on that.
I mean, more than things, people. I mean, when
And when
you
I say things, I'm saying like prayer, like reading your Bible. You know what I mean?
right. I mean, I'm not a religious person. I always say it. I'm a man who have a relationship with God. When you
Right.
take religion out of the equation and center God in
Hmm.
in the midst of it all, that's a direct line. You got to. You
Right.
got to.
Right.
For the most part, you have to. Most people don't like fellowshipping because the self-conscious mind, which that's you dwelling in your own mind, tells you, oh, they being judgmental. Well, guess what? Jesus was judged and crucified
Right.
to die for our sins, right?
Absolutely.
So with me acknowledging that, the weight should be off my mind
Yeah.
and in his hands, because he had his hands open. So see, most people, yeah, you start seeking the face, you get the hands. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I can't say nothing other than God. I'm free because of God. I'm alive because of God. I'm sane because of God.
Right.
So A lot of people don't have their mind, and I mean, right now, this is the topic: depression and you know, anxiety dealing because of the loss of
Mm-hmm.
loved ones around the holidays. So how can we get away from that? Seek presence, seek God. You know, before you seek the knowledge, you must seek understanding
Right.
because the knowledge could be poured out, but you not understanding it, how can you receive it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or you'll dwell on leaning on your own understanding because you don't care too much about what God or the essence of God is. A lot of people say, "Oh, I love God, I trust God," but have you? When was the last time you seek presence? When I say seek presence, dive in the Word because I'm not just giving you what I'm giving you right now because Caesar just that sharp and he gives it up like that. No, this it's
Experience.
studying,
You went.
it's studying, going through.
You going through it.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Understanding where deliverance come from.
Absolutely.
So for the most part, I mean, I'm not trying to seem harsh, but even when Jesus came to before I forget, before I go in too deep, you know, somebody died in one of the Bible stories. I can't go directly, but Jesus said, he was asked a question. So, should I leave and bury my loved one? And Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the
Mm-hmm.
dead."
Mm.
Again, those who didn't know that Jesus was the Messiah at that time was in the flesh, right? In the carnal mind, which means those people were depressed,
Mm-hmm.
without, and not trusting God. So, not taking away from grief at the time, but you have to understand that sometimes those folks left this earth, but to be with God. So why are you so depressed behind it?
And I think it's just it's natural.
I mean, I understand the natural form, but again, I'm not trying to seem harsh. I'm not trying to seem uh emotionally removed or
Right. Or
anything like that
disconnected.
or
Right. Right. Right.
disconnected, but me understanding God. And that's why I use that scripture because he should be our strength. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? At times he is our butler. He's our strength.
Mm-hmm.
He's our rock. He's our staff. Put on the armor of God,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, mentally, and physically. Um, we have to build ourselves up for a loss because it's not a goodbye. It's more like I see you later. When I get there, when I reach there, I will get there and seek the presence of God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have to know. You have to know mentally in order to detach yourself from those,
Right.
mental attacks.
Right.
So I mean, for the most part, it's a strong one.
Yeah.
It's definitely a strong one. So I mean,
Well, um, I think I think my grieving process is kind of distancing myself from the world, um, just to kind of gather my thoughts. I don't want the wrong thing to come across. I don't want to deliver something. You know what I mean? Not some. Yeah, it could be the way someone receives it, but um, I just kind of remove people. I'm not gonna say negativity, but just um, I mean, again, people grieve differently. Um, I may turn my phone off. I don't want to be bothered. Um, yeah.
I mean, but that's where the idle mind plays in, right? Mm, yeah, you say people grieve differently, but that's an idle mind right there. You're not seeking God. You're not getting around the fellowship of people that will uphold you, that could see Trinacia falling.
I'm working on it.
You know what I mean?
I'm working on
And
it.
I'm not trying to center you off because again, it's like it's you drowning in your own sorrows. Like that's where drinking comes in. That's where heavily smoking come in, and those can trigger anxieties and bodily diseases once you indulge.
Right.
Heavily, like you drown on it. Like, I mean, take it from a person who had to sit in the dark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For a while, I sit in the dark, and I mean, I can only give God the honor and the glory for it because
Right.
I'm free. I'm not stressed about anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, talking about broken.